All right, Houston Texans at the Green Bay Packers. Packers favored by 2.5 here, Sunday at 1 o'clock. It is a battle of the two quarterbacks who last year had the almost exact same stat line during wild card weekend of the playoffs, C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. And we had the task of going on to the old podcast, this show, though, different name, and explaining to J.J. Watt why they had different production grades in that particular game. But yeah, C.J. Stroud versus Jordan Love, a battle of two guys battling for top 5 QB status in the coming years here.
Just think, when that happens this year, it's somebody else's problem.
Yes, if we will use and reference PFF grades, I still believe in them. I believe they are the best way of isolating individual play.
But when they don't jive with the narrative, it is no longer our job to defend them.
If there's a discrepancy in the grade and the production, and there are questions, you can't direct them to us anymore. Someone else has to answer.
Talk to Trevor. It's no longer our problem.
Go see Trevor. Go ask the PFF NFL podcast guys. They'll give you the answer. Mm-hmm. So I'll still use them and reference them. I love them. But we don't have to, solve the problems at this point, which is great. So it's a good battle here. But this just reminds me of, those two guys, especially at the end of last season. Future's bright for Stroud and for Love. We haven't seen – it's been less consistent for Love this year. He's had the injury and everything, but he's still second in the league in touchdowns despite missing a couple of games.
Yeah, he has. And it's probably not quite like the first half of last season. I think he's overall better than that, but it's a little reminiscent of that in terms of the inconsistency. To me, though, that's obviously where the attention is going to go, Stroud versus Love, the top two quarterbacks. I don't think Green Bay's defense is getting enough notice so far this season. These are two top 10 defenses in terms of EPA per play. Green Bay's are 6th in scoring drive allowed rate. Like, this is a good defense. We saw what they did to Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. They were suffocating that offense, which, okay, that's an inconsistent offense itself. It's capable of hit or miss games, but they couldn't get anything going against the Packers. So I'm really fascinated to see what they can do against this Houston offense, which is really good. Stroud, even without Nico Collins, we saw both Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell sort of step up with an increased role, with increased responsibilities. So to me, that's the fun part of this. Like, how does each – obviously we're going to focus on Love versus Stroud, but, like, how does each defense do against those quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think the Green Bay defense, I think we forget how bad they were at times last year, and they've definitely played way more consistently this year. We've highlighted some of the young players that they've been putting out there the last couple weeks, and it's like the same old story. You're finding fourth round Evan Williams, safety, who's made some huge plays the last couple weeks. We've highlighted him in some of the review shows. Edgerrin Cooper, their second round linebacker. Their pass rush has been a little inconsistent, I think, up front. They need to be able to get after the quarterback a little bit more, but they run deep on the defensive line, the Packers. So yeah, it's an incredible matchup. You have Xavier McKinney, who's done a great job patrolling the middle and just forcing turnovers and creating big plays there as well. So a lot of good storylines, I think, on that side of the ball. I think the Texans' ability to run the ball last week with Joe Mixon, 2 big runs, really, right? They didn't get much going until they ran that little trap play, got him out in space, but 2 big runs from Joe Mixon that I think adds just a whole nother element to this Texans offense this year. So they have multiple ways to win on offense, multiple ways to win on defense as well. And then the Packers, again, another, spread the ball around, finding ways to get the ball into Jaden Reed's hands. Christian Watson with the huge play last week. He's dangerous. I think you have keeping him away from Derek Stingley. You have some matchup options here, trying to get Christian Watson into space. And, since entering the league, since like the end of 22, right? The last half of 22, Christian Watson, when healthy, when the hamstrings are, 95% on both sides.
Balance, yeah.
When balanced hamstring, Christian Watson is one of the best deep threats in the league. How's that?
It's good. It's good. I like that receiving core for Green Bay is still, I don't know what the way, it's confusing, right? It's difficult to pin down in any given week because it's very diverse in terms of skill set. It's very difficult to figure out who's going to get fed in any given game. Is it going to be Christian Watson with a couple of big bombs? Is it going to be Romeo Doubs doing his acrobatics and contortion skills to get in the end zone? Is it going to be Jaden Reed being a high volume guy? Like, they can go in a lot of different directions with that passing game, and all of them be successful.
And the tough part here on Thursday, previewing this thing, is looking at the injury report for the Packers. Here are the questionable players. Tucker Kraft, tight end, questionable. Watson, wide receiver, questionable. Dontavian Wicks, questionable. Jaden Reed, questionable. So there's 4 pass catchers right there. Luke Musgrave, the tight end's already on injured reserve. And then on the defensive side, Devontae Wyatt, Jerry Alexander, both questionable as well.
Right.
So we'll see which way that goes for the Packers at this point.
Yep.
I'm a believer in the Texans, though, man. I mean, I really think, look, they took care of business last week against New England. I don't think it's been as clean this year as you would want for a 5-1 Houston Texans team. Look at that record up at the screen. When it comes to my mind, I just look at right at the screen there. 5-1. It's great.
Yeah, that's one.
But they haven't dominated. It's not a dominant 5-1. But I think that's part of what makes Houston so good, is that it can be in different ways every week.
That was one that kind of surprised me. I mean, is that too stupid a thing to say for a team's record after 6 weeks?
That they're just not cooking right now?
No, but it's one where you sort of looked up and you go, oh, wow, they've only lost that one Vikings game. Like, they ran into Brian Flores, who's shredding everybody right now, and that neutralized their offense. Outside of that, they won every game. Like, this is – because you're right, it doesn't feel like the Texans have been this overwhelmingly dominant team that's, looking like the best team in football. And yet the only blemish on their record so far is that Flores game.
Yeah. So one other thing, Will Anderson had that dominant outing against the basically like 4th string Patriots tackles. I still think Will Anderson's great. But him and Donnell Hunter against Zach Tom on the right side. Packers have the number 1 pass blocking grade in the NFL. I have high expectations for the Texans pass rush basically every single week. So see if they can get after Jordan Love in this one. Should be a great game.
No, I'm excited for this game. I think it will definitely be a good one.
Some good 1 o'clock games here. So the Packers are going at the same time as Detroit and Minnesota. The NFC North, those top 4 teams all have – the Chicago's on bye, but the top 4 teams all have the best four best point differentials in the NFL. So
and would all make the playoffs if it started today.
Awesome. It'd be great. It's been a fun division to watch this year. All right, Packers favored by 2.5 here at home Sunday at 1.
I'm going to go with Houston. I honestly could talk myself into either one of these teams, though, looking really good and winning this game, but I'm going to lean with the Texans.
Potential Super Bowl matchup here. Texans, I'll take the Texans here, and Harry will as well. Sorry about the Packers hate here, apparently, from us, but we're all taking the Texans to win.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.